Hey everybody, welcome to the Peanut Butter Promise Power Encouragement Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Charlene.
And I'm Dayton.
And I was very confused one time back in 1982 in the fall. Here's what's happened. Well, here's what the story is that happened.
Just that one time you were
I was
confused?
Well,
just
many
thinking the
times.
same
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
like,
Oh wait, save
You
some.
got it.
Save some.
We're going to be talking about the law of impossible substitution, and also in Charlene's chapter in the book on the 7 seeds of service, she talks about patience. But I want to talk to you about this law of impossible substitution. There was a time, September 14th, 1981, I was headed to the cornfields of Clarion, Iowa with my job. New job, first job, program director, $700 a month, Dayton.
Wow.
I
getting
mean,
rich.
wow, absolutely. Down there.
big bucks.
Yep. And so I thought for sure when I left they'd miss me on the farm, herd average would go down, mom and dad would cry a lot. Well, guess how many times they called me when I was down there in Iowa? Approximately how many times did they call me a day? You're right, it was none. I was the one crying in the Sandstone Motel. So anyway, so I go down there and I come flying back about a month later, and I said, Pop, I noticed when I left, I swore when I said goodbye to you, you had some tears in your eyes, and, you and Mother were missing me and stuff. And he said, son, you don't get it. Those were tears of joy that you were leaving. And so I guess they thought they could replace me, and guess what? They did replace me there. But seriously, folks, the Peanut Butter Promise says that you are impossible to replace. The Peanut Butter Promise says you were born with every talent, ability, and gift to fulfill a God-given purpose. You got the right personality, you got the desire. As peanut butter was destined to meet jelly, people will come into your life, Peanut Butter Promise partners like Charlene and like Dayton, and others will come into your life to help you fulfill your purpose. And the dreams and desires in your heart, the ones you've had from little boy, if they're a part of your purpose, it's not a matter of if but when. So let's talk about this law of impossible substitution, Dayton.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. So I work out all the time, and I try to look my best, and I've had a gut since I've been 10. No matter how much I work out, no matter what I eat, it just doesn't go away, and it really discourages me. And the other day I just thought about it. I said, you know what? I am not the strongest person in the world, and I'm not the weakest. I am not the tallest, and I'm not the shortest. I'm not the skinniest, I'm not the fattest. I can never be any of, there's only one of those people in the world at any given time, right? And how many people? 7.7 billion?
billion inhabitants
So
right now.
why am I stressing out about that? There's only one thing that I can be best at, and that's because God made me this way. I can be the best Dayton Sean Thorstensen that is out there.
Yeah.
Right.
The best Dayton Kane that is out there,
Right.
if you use my radio name. So I can be the best at that. Nobody else can be better than me at being me.
Right.
And that's for a reason. God put me here on this earth to accomplish what he needs me to accomplish.
Right.
I may not be the smartest guy in the room. I know I'm not, because Steve is sitting right next to me, right? So
wrong. But I appreciate you for saying that.
but that
Dayton.
goes to show, like, if I'm not here, there's a hole in the universe,
Right.
because my family
Yep,
needs me.
yep.
I'm here with you guys
Yep.
on a regular basis. There's things that I'm meant to accomplish
Exactly.
that only I am meant to accomplish.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And I just want to say, bingo, bullseye, bam, you hit it exactly what we're coming up with this law of impossible substitution, because of the 7 laws, cause and effect, and the law of belief and expectation,
Sure.
those have been around for years, and I wanted to put one cute one in there called the law of impossible substitution, and you nailed it. It's the fact that there's only one you.
Right.
They say, oh, you're a 7.7 billion to 1. Well, yeah, but no, you're you, and you're absolutely right, Dayton.
One at a time.
You're taken out of this world. I can't imagine what that means to Jacob, to Kylie, and to your wife, Tracy. I'm here telling you what, and Charlene, we're not kidding. You're taken out of that chair right now. There's no podcast. There's our encouragement for the project goes down half whatever. So we trust that you, as a Peanut Butter Promise, was brought into our life for a purpose, which you were. We trust that, as we've talked about in a recent podcast here, maybe it's coming up, I don't know, integrity or kindness. We trust that as we're honest and you can trust us, that you'll continue to help us. So yeah, darn straight that you hit it on the nose. There is only one you, and we're grateful. Charlene?
There is, and you know, and I want to talk to the audience, you know, there is only one you. There is no other you. And yes, you are here for a purpose. You are here because you are right where you're supposed to be at this exact moment. And you are breathing breath, you have a pulse, you have a purpose. And you need to find out where you're going and what you're supposed to be doing. You can't just be sitting there waiting for it to happen. It's something that you have to establish in yourself if you haven't already. Those of you who are runners, I know a lot of people do a lot of running. I have a lot of friends that let us know they're running the 10K or they're doing this or that, you know. And I recently went hiking with my son. And I'm not a big hiker, you know, I want to be, but I haven't ever done it like I did it that day with my son. We climbed a mountain so high, 3 stops, got my breath back. But by the time I got to the top, the greatest reward was the lake that we got to see and view that you can only see if you hike the mountain, okay? And so everybody needs to have something to look forward to. And you need to know what goals or what is it that you need to attain, and you need to find it within yourself. What are your likes? There's only you who decides that. There's only you who can have that. I mean, you know, you are, like you said, Dayton, 1 out of 7.7 million. Well, guess what? One of a kind, and that's who you are.
Yeah.
Well, and a sum of everything that's come through your life, right? Every
Yes.
book you've read, every TV
Yeah.
show you've watched, it all stems from you being that individual that God's put on this earth.
It's part of the recipe that's been
Yeah.
mixed together to create you.
I've heard people who say, "Oh, I was a mistake." You know, they were a mistake. I said, "No, you weren't.
Never.
You're here for a reason.
Right.
No matter how you got here,
Amen.
you're here for a reason."
Yeah, and think about, again, how different we are and how different you are. Think about what your favorite color is, your favorite food, your favorite movie, your favorite song, your favorite time of the year. We are all truly, truly unique
Yes, we are.
in that way.
Yes, we are.
Have you guys ever heard of the string walks into a bar?
No.
And the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve strings here."
I don't know.
So the string walks back outside and he ties himself in a knot and he frays his ends and he walks back in and orders his drink, and the bartender says, "Hey, aren't you that string that just walked in here?" He said, "Nope, afraid not."
Afraid
No matter
not.
what you do to yourself, you're in this world and you're here for a reason. No, whether you're a string or afraid not, you are you.
Skeleton walks into the bar, says, "Give me a beer and a mop." Anyway. Charlene.
That took me a second. That took me a second.
Yeah, well, as long as we're out of here. Horse walks
no,
into
here
a
we
bar,
go.
bellies
Okay,
up
okay,
to
okay.
By the long
bar.
fish. Yeah, you can go on.
Three-legged dog walks up. I'm here to find out who shot my paw. Anyway.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay, so now we got from the 7 Seeds of Service in a book called The Peanut Butter Promise. Look, I don't want you to go to the website and order this book because I say it's good, but my mom really likes it.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom just thinks this book is really good. Dayton's all over it. He's in there. We got a tribute to him in the power of positive development there. Positive attitude. We got a story about Dayton and his son in there. It's a tribute, Coach Kane and son Thor. But anyway, let's go to patience here in the 7 Seeds of Service. What's patience?
Now they turn me on to patience after that. This is good.
You have to have
And I
patience
have
to deal with
patience.
us.
Now you just saw that. It just came true. Okay, patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, suffering without anger. You know, I know that a lot of people, I've always said to people, I'm not a doctor, so don't expect patience. I mean, really, I'm not a doctor. But I do need patience all the time. And when you're raising children, you need patience. When you're married, you need patience. When you're anywhere doing a job and working with employees or anything else, you need patience. You know, and the greatest example of patience I can give you is the one I know from God. And the one that I can point out is me. He's been very patient with me as I've grown in my faith. And why is that? Because, you know, he knows our innermost being. He knows what we've been through. You know, I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm not old by any means. I still have a lot of time left, I hope. And so anyway, let's get back to the point. It's like an onion, okay? God knows everything I've been through in my life. And those things in my life that happened to me, good or bad, are in me. And the things that were bad that I didn't get through in the right way, or I had a wrong reaction to, or I was provoked into a wrong reaction, that is in there, and that's something He has to work out of me and use it for good. And the only way He can use it for good is if He gets in there with me. You know, there are times that I've gone through things in life that I didn't turn to God and say, hey, God, can you go through this with me? Well, now I got to go back there with God and say, you know what? When I was 5, this is what happened, and it really, really hurt me terribly. And He's saying, okay, let's go together. And what does He have to bring with Him? Everything that He is. He equips Himself with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, patience. And so He waits on me to get to the point where I can handle it. He doesn't cut down the onion. He doesn't cut through the middle core of the onion and make me expose what's really, really deep and hurting until I can handle it. Because once you get to that place, the strongest place in an onion is the center of the onion, and it makes you cry. And believe you and me. So He takes each layer, one layer at a time, and just peels it off. He peels off that light paper on the outside of the onion. Then He gets to the first layer and He peels it down. Then He gets to the next. He knows what we can handle, and He's very patient. His love for us is eternal, and His patience with us is forever. And so He knows us more than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
But we're the two that know each other. You know, we're the two that know me and God. I mean, you know me intimately. You're my husband, but you don't know the things inside of me that have been put there throughout my lifetime that only God knows and wants to deal with. And it's when He deals with those things that I can write about stuff like patience. In the book, The Peanut Butter Promise, we have chapter 7 that says the 7 seeds of service, and I wrote that. And there's one area that talks about patience, and the most patient person I knew was my grandma. And again, I reiterate on grandma because that's who I wrote about in that chapter. And her patience was with a man who was an alcoholic. And this man was her caretaker for her yard and stuff. He did her painting, he did, you know, whatever needs she had around the house. He'd fix the stairs, he'd do whatever needed to be done when she needed it. And he would come at certain times. They'd set a time and a date, and this man would come. But there was one thing he had to do. He had to come sober. And so one time she was waiting for him, and he didn't show up. And the next day he didn't show up. And she tried calling him, and she couldn't get a hold of him. But she said, he'll come. And she kept just telling me, he'll come. I just, you know, I wish he would have come Monday, but he'll come. Well, he came Wednesday. And when he did come, I remember she wasn't aware I was there, and I was watching her deal with him when he came in, and she said, come on and sit down a minute. I want to talk to you. And she said, what happened? And so he poured his heart out to her. And he started to weep a little bit. He went through something rough, and she said, you know, I just want to tell you, you know, I was counting on you for Monday. I had planned on, you know, dinner and everything for you. And she said, and it really hurt my heart that you weren't here. I just want to let you know I'm disappointed that you didn't come on time. But she said, you know I love you, and I forgive you for that. And she said, so now let's just get to work. I mean, and it was a loving patience, and that's kind of how I feel when I go to God on the things in my heart and in my life that I need to deal with. And so, you know, I guess I keep telling people, you know I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress, and until we don't have pulse, we're a work in progress. You know, but because we have a pulse, we have a purpose. So we need to work on it so that we can become the best us that we can be. And one of those things is having patience with ourselves while we do it.
And what are the last 2 words in the definition of patience you had there?
Without anger.
That's key.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You can be patient, you think,
Yep.
but if you're steaming inside
Yep.
and you're angry at what's not going the way you think it should, that's not patience.
Yeah.
No.
You may on the outside be showing that you're waiting and you're calm and but inside if you're angry, you're not being
Yeah,
patient.
patience is not passive, it waits because it realizes it's best to be able to wait, but Joyce Meyer does say exactly what you said, Dayton, that it's a test for how we're handling it, and I flunked my patience test.
And
quite
so,
often.
and so, like you said, without anger, and that's the example my grandmother gave. She wasn't mad at him. She was
Exactly.
disappointed, but she wasn't going to hold it against him, and had to tell him, "I forgive you for not being here on time."
Yeah.
But I never saw her get upset. I never saw her, heard her say a word, "Oh, that he must be out drinking again," or grumbling and complaining and kicking around the house because she made a meal. She didn't. She just put it away, and saved it for later.
Yeah, we've been talking about the law of impossible substitution, which says there's only one you, and there's only one you.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about the seed that Charlene writes, seed number 6 in the Peanut Butter Promise, called patience.
Yes.
And yes, God, give me patience, and I want it now. That's what I say so often. We hope that this has been an encouragement to you. We hope that you'll bring 17 and a half of your friends back next time, and they bring their friends and go and visit us on social media. Where can they find us?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, trying to take over everything we can and get the word out there. That's the goal, right? To
Yep.
get everybody out there. And what we touch on each week when we do these podcasts is just a mere fraction of what's in the book. That is at peanutbutterpromise.com.
Yes, absolutely. We're about hope and encouragement, and we thank you so much for Dayton. Charlene, my name is Steve, and as always, make it a wonderful peanut butter.